Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live on this Premier League Sunday, the 5th of November. We've already had some cracker games this weekend, 7 games already concluded from the Premier League weekend. You can see all the scores there on your screen. We've a lovely double header for you this afternoon on Premier League Sunday as Nottingham Forest host Aston Villa before Liverpool head to Luton at 4:30 this afternoon. We start at the City Ground and let's have a look at the team news for today's game. Nottingham Forest start with Vlachodimos in goal. He makes his debut for Forest this afternoon after signing on deadline day for £7.8 million. He comes in for Matt Turner, who was dropped following his mistake against Liverpool last week. The defence is as follows: Harry Toffolo, Nia Katse, Murillo and Ola Aina in defence. Toffolo is in for Serge Aurier this afternoon, who's on the bench, making his 5th league appearance of the season. Toffolo. In midfield is Ola Mangala, Nicolas Dominguez and Ibrahim Sangare, with Morgan Gibbs-White, who captains Nottingham Forest this afternoon on his 50th club appearance. Anthony Alanga and Taiwo Awoniyi are in the front line. Awoniyi, who hasn't scored a league goal since the 26th of August in a defeat against Manchester United, he returns to the side, hoping to return to record goal scoring form. For Aston Villa, there's no changes for Unai Emery's side. Emi Martinez starts in goal. Manny Cash, Ezri Konsa, Pau Torres and Luca Dean in defence. A midfield 4 of Douglas Luiz, Boubacar Kamara, Nicolo Zaniolo and John McGinn, who captains the club on his 200th club appearance. With a front 2 of Moussa Diaby and Ollie Watkins, who started all 11 Premier League games this season, scoring 5 goals, averaging 1 every 2 games on average this season. Alex Moreno returns to the matchday squad for Villa after a long-term injury, and Villa are the entertainers. They have had 40 goals in their 10 previous Premier League games this season, more than any other side that's averaging 4 goals in Villa games this season. Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa is getting underway in just a moment. Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live with me, Kevin Ferris, this Sunday. Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa to get us underway this afternoon, and what a cracking game we're set up for here at the City Ground this afternoon. An exciting game of these two sides with contrasting form as of recently. Aston Villa on an incredible run, since Unai Emery's taken over exactly a year ago today, since his first game in charge against Manchester United in a 3-1 win at Villa Park last season. Only Manchester City and Arsenal have more wins in the league than Aston Villa in that time, and only 4 sides in the league have a better points per game ratio. That's Man City, Arsenal, Newcastle and Liverpool in that time. An incredible job what Unai Emery's done at Villa over the last year. An incredible job. For Nottingham Forest, they are on a 6-game winless run, of course, in recent weeks. Not really good for them. They've gone off the boil a bit after a very good start to the season, comparably to what some people would have said, but second season syndrome is something they need to fight this season, and something that I'm sure Steve Cooper is very, very aware of for Nottingham Forest, who are unbeaten at home this season, 1 win and 3 draws in their 4 home league games in the Premier League. Remember, this is Forest's last home game before Remembrance Sunday next Sunday, so they are having a minute's silence at the moment for all of those who risk their lives to make sure that we could live our own in this current day. Of course, with Remembrance Sunday next weekend, all the players and officials are wearing the poppy on their shirts, and of course on their clothing this afternoon alongside the officials as well. As a real chorus of the Nottingham Forest kind of theme song, the anthem at the City Ground, really rings around this old classic stadium. Nottingham Forest in their traditional red and white, and Aston Villa in their away strip of a kind of bluey grey colour this afternoon. We are underway then at the City Ground for another Premier League Sunday to get underway. Don't forget we have Luton Liverpool to come after this one. We're set for an exciting game. I love a good Villa game. They always bring excitement and energy to Premier League football. Be interesting to see as well how Nottingham Forest kind of go up against Villa today, as they've made their early run down the left-hand side. Anthony Alanga trying to make that ball into the box to find Toffolo, who was on the underlap there, and that runs away for a Forest throw on the left-hand side. Positive start for Forest, trying to bring the energy to Villa. So they have that throw in on the left-hand side, of which Niakate is coming over to take on that left-hand side. Forest early on. And come on, you Reds, billowing around the City Ground early on in this game. Throw in will go long, right into the box. Alanga was the nearest to it, bouncing around. Gibbs-White flicks it on, kept alive by Morgan Gibbs-White, and then Villa can carry it away now. On the counter-attack, here's Ollie Watkins, just crossing the halfway line. Watkins just plays it back to Cash. Now Digne. Villa have the ball back and have the possession to now play the way they want to play now. Here's Pau Torres. It's actually quite a remarkable job what Unai Emery's been doing at Aston Villa over the last year. Really, really incredible job. Something that has to be commended with the kind of utmost of respect for the Villa manager. Here is Torres. Plays it into Douglas Luiz. Has a bit of space to turn. Finds Matty Cash on the right hand side. Has to go back in field though to Kamara. Now Luiz, Forest on the press, but John McGinn finds a pocket of space. Plays it down the line to Cash. Matty Cash blocked off that time. Back to McGinn. Will make the run, but that ball from John McGinn is too much to find Matty Cash again, and that will run for a Forest goal kick. And of course, Matty Cash has history at Nottingham Forest. Spoke about how Nottingham Forest will always be in his heart and what they've done for him over the years to develop him as a player. He will always be grateful for it, but he wants to win today. But here come Forest though. Here's Awoniyi. Finds Dominguez, cuts it off, strike! Just wide. And arriving there. It's a lovely movement from Forest. Awoniyi just breaks away from that central position, goes a bit further left. He cuts the ball back onto the middle for Dominguez to just take a touch of it. Sorry, Sangare onto Dominguez, and Dominguez takes the shot and fires it wide. But that was good link-up play from Forest. They knew where each other were and they knew what they needed to do. Clear vision, of course. Shooting from distance as well. Here's Digne under pressure. Spins away from his marker. That's lovely quick feet down the left-hand side by Zaniolo. Pressured there by Mangala, who wins it back for Forest. Gibbs-White, who has the captain's armband for Forest this afternoon. As I mentioned in my opener, 50th club appearance for Morgan Gibbs-White this afternoon. Putting on that captain's armband, I'm sure, is a privilege at such a historic football club. Here's Mangala. Forest trying to break forward. Toffolo. Down the left-hand side is Alanga linking up with Dominguez, and Alanga's made that run down the left flank. Alanga's through here. Anthony Alanga into the box. Can he find another Forest player? Has to cut it back. Cross from Toffolo to the edge. Aina coming onto it, and Aina! What a strike by Ola Aina! arriving into the edge of the box, and a fantastic finish right into the bottom left corner. No chance for the Villa keeper, Emi Martinez, and a lovely finish by Ola Aina. It looked like a scuffed cutback, but it worked out beautifully for Nottingham Forest, an arriving player on the edge of the D, and a lovely, lovely strike by Ola Aina to put Nottingham Forest 1-0 up here against Aston Villa very early on. It all starts with that link-up down the left-hand side. A lovely bit of link-up play between Dominguez and Alanga. Alanga just stops in the box, and Toffolo coming up the left-hand side. You think his cutback is completely scuffed. There's no Forest player within the range. And then just as your last second, as it comes to the edge of the D, Ola Aina charging towards the ball and just strikes it with his right instep past Emi Martinez in the Villa goal right to the bottom left corner. It's a fantastic straight finish. Calm and composed as you like from Ola Aina. Fantastic from Nottingham Forest, who have an early lead. And that's his first ever goal for Nottingham Forest, by the way. And they had a quick check VAR for an offside. We had a bit of drama, a lot of drama yesterday about offside goals and drama about VAR yesterday, but calm, cool, collected, doing their job today, and Villa are 1-0 down. Pure brilliance by Nottingham Forest, really. You know, that's what they've been lacking this season, that kind of clinical edge when they've been on top in many games, and even when they have been clinical, they've just been too leaky at the back. I think that's something that Steve Cooper will want to fix, and is hoping that today could be a real example of that. A big statement that Nottingham Forest can compete. That's a lovely ball. Not really. I was going to say it was. It was a lovely idea. Alanga is really causing issues on that left-hand side. Villa can't seem to cope with him. He's finding those spaces in behind time and time again. And it brings me back to the game at Anfield, Villa away this season, where they were completely exposed. It's such a high line, and their wing-backs, or their full-backs, had pushed so far up the pitch that the wide players of Liverpool were having a joy. They were loving it. And the balls in behind, Villa just couldn't cope with that, such a high line. They're a bit deeper today than that game at Anfield, but at the same time, the full-backs pushing so far up are giving Forest the runs, and with wide players such as Gibbs White and Alanga can make those runs down the channels, Forest will be a threat today. Fun says, Elvis, thoughts on PGMOL error yesterday? Was there a PGMOL error? I mean, I watched Match of the Day last night, and I thought the Arsenal goal I didn't think there was an issue with. And I mean, some people are kind of getting really riled up about this. But yes, Forest are winning fun. They've just scored. Ola Aina scoring. Really good from Murillo. Working ever so hard, and that's a lovely back flick to work it out from the back there from Forest. Villa keep it in. Forest wanted a handball, but Villa bring it down with Zaniolo. Yeah, in the Newcastle game. Yes, Newcastle against Arsenal. I watched the goal back for Newcastle, and I see no issues with it, really, for me. I think the point that was given, and the point that I think I would take from it, is the fact that if the ball was out of play, you know, there's a couple of instances. I can see the foul on the Arsenal defender. That's a possibility, but that's a subjective one for me. I think if VAR are going to get involved in that, they need to call their referee over, and that's a whole subjective issue. Plus, the referee probably would have pulled that up anyway. But what I mean, in terms of factually, I don't think they made an error. I think if the ball was out of play, they have to have clear evidence to show that the ball was out of play. They didn't have that, so they had to stick with the on-field decision. I mean, we've seen it in the Brentford-West Ham game, about there wasn't definitive kind of conclusive evidence as to a handball in that game between Brentford and West Ham, and they just had to go with the on-field decision. I think that was the case with the ball out of play in that Newcastle-Arsenal game, was they couldn't actually tell whether it was in or out, and they just had to stick with the on-field decision. There's a guy that's paid the money to see if the ball kept in. But I get the point, and the frustration from Arsenal fans is that such fine margins like that, but in the end of the day, you know, that's what Premier League football's all about. Fun says it's consistency though, because they ruled out the United goal a couple of weeks ago, and that was definitely further in than the Newcastle game. See, but in that case, see, this is the difference, and this is why they need to get lines on the perimeters of the pitch and cameras to show exactly where the perimeter of the pitch ends and what's out and what's in. Because in that case, in the United game, they could clearly see that the ball was in play, because you could use the goal line technology, because the ball was that close to the goal that you could see that the line, you could see the straight angle that the ball was out of play. However, in that case, it was so far towards the corner flag that camera didn't pick up any kind of images of the ball, and that's probably what the case was, and that's why they couldn't figure it out. But I agree with you. It's so inconsistent, the refereeing today in the Premier League in this season. It's ridiculous what's going on, and I've made it very clear earlier in the season in other games how literally on the same weekend, one decision, two very, very similar cases, one's given a penalty, one's not, or one's a red card and one's not, or other situations like that, that there's such fine margins, and that comes down to the subjectivity of it as well. How subjective is it? Is it factual, or is it an opinion based, or a subjective call from the referee? And that's where you'd find the differences. But even on factual calls, they're not actually consistent enough with it, and that's the real issue for the Premier League at the moment, and why it's not working. And Fun says, but as they were saying on Sky, that because they ended up not overturning anything, how did the... Sorry, I need to read that here. But as they were saying on Sky, that because they ended up not overturning anything, that how did the technology do what it is there for? Yeah, I agree. I think there are more improvements needed, definitely. I mean, as I mentioned, that the camera's about perimeters. They need to have that, and they need to get it in as quickly as possible. Because situations like that Newcastle-Arsenal game are still going to happen, and no one knows either way whether it was in or out, so the argument will continue and continue. Corner for Villa. McGinn takes it short. Whipped in by Douglas Luiz, who goes too deep with that one. And that will run for a Forest goal kick. 12 minutes gone, Forest leading by a goal to nil. Ola Aina with the goal in the 5th minute, but since then Villa have had most of the possession. Still yet to have a shot in the game, Aston Villa. Forest only one shot on target, and that shot on target was a cracker by Ola Aina. We're just seeing a reverse angle about the keeper not being able to see, but he was blocked by his own player. If anything, there was no issues with it. VAR didn't actually have a look at that, but of course, typical. Certain broadcaster trying to force a narrative in some way, but we'll not go there. That's a late challenge on Morgan Gibbs-White by Luca Digne. And Nottingham Forest will get a free kick. Remember, Luca Digne is a yellow card away from suspension. 4 yellow cards this season for Luca Digne. A 5th, of course, early in the season, but for the halfway point, will give you a 1-match ban. Morgan Gibbs-White to take this free kick for Forest. A second goal will be unbelievable for Forest. Incredible start to the game if they could get it from this set piece. Morgan Gibbs-White, right-footed delivery. Bouncing around the box. Villa do get it away. Calls of handball, but referee waves that away. I would probably tend to agree on first look, as Douglas Luiz is under pressure. Just about got out of it, but Sangare was piling on the pressure, and the Forest have won it back, but the referee has given a free kick, actually. He felt that Wanyi had actually fouled the Villa player. Just see the replay of this. So Digne gives it to Luiz, who's under massive pressure by Sangare. He plays it out nicely, finds Kamara, and then the Forest players are deemed to have fouled Kamara on the ball. There's 2 Forest players, and Wanyi picks it up, and the other Forest player, I couldn't see the number on the back of their shirt there to see who it was, but got away with one there, Villa. The referee deeming that it was a foul. I wasn't too sure myself, but Jared Gillett, the referee this afternoon, felt it was a foul. Now Villa have the ball on the right flank. Matty Cash, left-footed delivery. Zaniolo with a header. Quite well wide there from Nicolo Zaniolo. That will be a goal kick to Nottingham Forest. First real time we've seen Matty Cash break down that right-hand side and whip a ball in. Just got underneath it, Zaniolo, and kind of ballooned the ball out for a goal kick. Couldn't get any power behind it as he was directly underneath the ball. Well, Unai Emery, just a stat coming up there, 63% win percentage, winning 22 of his 36 games in charge of Aston Villa. Which is unreal, by the way. A 63% win percentage at a club like Aston Villa, who last season were in a tough spot under Steven Gerrard. We're closing towards relegation battle more than anything. Long throw from Forest by Aina. It's headed straight back out of play by Pau Torres for another Forest throw. Excuse me. Ola Aina there to take this throw in then. Forest goal scorer. Goes right down the line, trying to target Awoniyi. Battling with Pau Torres. Awoniyi has the physicality. Tries to play the ball into the box, but no one's there for him, and Villa clear their lines. They find it with McGinn. In space, in the middle. John McGinn. Does lay the ball off. Finds Boubacar Kamara. Now Cash down the right-hand side. Has space to run into. He's not charging down the right this time. Gives it back to Kamara. Now Luis. Douglas Luis finds Cash. Not seen much of Ollie Watkins early on. I mentioned he's started all 11 games for Villa this afternoon. They've given it away here again. Villa sloppy on the ball, and Forest can break away. Here's Alanga charging down the left-hand side, trying to work it into the box. Couldn't get past Douglas Luis that time. And Villa have it back. Cash trying to force it forward, but just giving the ball straight back to Forest. Vlachodimos. He hasn't had much to do this afternoon, the Forest keeper so far. On his debut, Odysseus Vlachodimos. I have to say, it took me quite a while this morning. Once the team news come out earlier this afternoon, it took me a good 5 minutes to get the pronunciation of the Forest keeper right. I'm glad I did in the end, and I've kind of worked it out, but that's the joys of Premier League commentary. Sometimes spending 5-10 minutes before a game trying to learn a player's name so that when you're in the commentary you don't pronounce it wrong. But I've said that now, and if I do pronounce it, I'm sure someone will call me up on it in the chat. Here is Aston Villa then. 17.5 minutes gone. Forest leading through that Ola Aina goal. A win would put Forest up to 12th this afternoon, above Chelsea in the Premier League table. Aston Villa could go as high as 3rd with a win this afternoon, depending on results later this afternoon at Kenilworth Road between Luton and Liverpool. And of course Tottenham-Chelsea play tomorrow evening. We have both of those games live on LFS with live commentary. A cracker to end the weekend. Tottenham-Chelsea in a London derby. Lovely football that to look forward to. Luca Digne trying to find Zaniolo. All over him was Moussa Niakate, and puts it out for a Villa throw-in. I've really liked how well Forest have pressed so far this afternoon against this Villa side. Not giving them an inch of space. Although Zaniolo trying to work it into the box. Wanted a foul. The cut back to Douglas Luis to the back post. Cash is there! Cash was arriving, but he couldn't find the finish. But there was an offside in the build-up. They are checking for an offside action, or for a penalty. VAR. So we have a... Well, there we go. It's cleared. Nothing doing there. Just seeing the replay of it. Yeah, it goes down too easily there. Zaniolo, really. I think Sangare doesn't do anything wrong there. Just holding his ground, and in the end, Forest get away with it. Morgan Gibbs-White picking up the ball again. I mean it. these Forest wingers are really causing issues, but Villa work it out that time. Defend it well. Toffolo under pressure, does well, keeps the ball. Now Aina down the right hand side, linking up with Gibbs-White. Back to Aina. Finds Gibbs-White wide on the right hand side again. Plays the ball in behind, but that one's too straight towards Awani. And he's just straight offside prior to that. Taiwo Awani. So that will be a free kick to Villa. That's another name that a lot of people pronounce very differently. It's Taiwo Awani. It's Awani or Awani. I say Awani because it sounds better, but I don't actually know if that is his name pronunciation. I apologise if it isn't. Fun says, Ellis, don't worry, there are probably many ways to say it because people pronounce Ødegaard name wrong a lot. Yeah, that kind of annoys me because he said it enough times. And I mean, yes, sometimes people get it wrong. It happens, but Ødegaard, it quite clearly is Ødegaard. It's not Odegaard. Anyway, we're not getting. I don't want to get into this. I'll be here all day complaining about names. Darwin Nunez is another one that really annoys me. It's not Nunez. It's Darwin Nunez. Anyway, we move. Pau Torres, ball down the left-hand side, finds Lucadinha, flicked on for Zaniolo, who plays the ball in, and Vlachodimos was almost caught out there. Zaniolo tried to test the keeper. I don't know if it was an intentional cross, but it almost caught the keeper out at his front post. Lucadinha just slides the ball to Zaniolo, and then his cross just catches the wind and spins towards the Forest near post. And luckily Vlachodimos was quick to it, spotted that it could have been sneaking in, and was quick to it. Be a fantastic start to his Forest career if he could get a clean sheet on his debut. Tough job, of course, against Aston Villa. As I've already mentioned, love a good goal and love a goal fest in the Premier League. 41 goals now in 11 games this season, including the one we've already seen in this one. That's both scored and conceded. Toffolo really doing well against Matty Cash that time and getting rising applause from the City Ground fans. It was John McGinn's ball out to the right hand side to find Cash, and Toffolo was there, put in the challenge and giving Villa the throw in, or sorry, winning a Forest throw in, apologies. Which he takes, throws down the line. Alanga with the first touch, brought down nicely by Sangare, and now on the run. Down the right hand side is Ola Aina, trying to get Forest forward. Sangare to Mangala. Really strong start from Forest. I'm really impressed. I mean, I made a prediction before the season started about where Forest would finish, and a lot of people laughed at me and said, "Oh, your head's not screwed on right," saying that I have Forest finishing 10th. But I really believe in this Forest team. There's just something about Nottingham Forest that makes me believe that they won't be in a relegation battle this season. I just feel that they're too strong. They've got too much quality there, too much Premier League quality to not win enough games or not get enough points to be relegated. I think they will be fine this season, but I also think they'll be the big surprise. I think they will beat some big teams on the way to this season, and of course they did some big teams last season here at the City Ground, winning against Liverpool, getting a draw out of Manchester City. Some massive results. Of course, that big result against Arsenal to give City the title. That's a ball through to Awoniyi. I think he's offside there again. The flag did go up. But again, Forest playing those balls in behind. They look threatening. Villa just struggling to cope with that at the moment. Lovely switch ball by Torres. Finds Cash. Cuts it back to McGinn. McGinn plays it out to the left-hand side to find Digne on the left flank up against Aina. Lovely flick by Lucadinha. Leaves Aina on the floor, and the cross is beautiful. Just cleared away. Luis trying to keep it alive. Cleared away for a second time, and Lucadinha keeps it alive. Douglas Luiz. Konsa. Now to Kamara. Back to Esri Konsa. Nice threaded through ball. Finds Watkins. Back to Kamara. Quick football by Villa. Trying to find the spaces against this Forest team. Here's Cash. Well, he looked to cross it. He's not going to opt to cross it on that occasion and has to go backwards towards Kamara. The switch is on. Whether they can find it, Villa. Cash. Struggling to find the ball out here. Swapping up between Kamara and Cash for the moment. Finds it now to Luis. That's good. Kamara. Luis. Good movement by Villa. McGinn. Now Cash on the right hand side. Plays the ball right across. And the cross was really fizzed in. And Ola Aina was there to put it behind for the corner. Working ever so hard both ends of the pitch. Ola Aina on the cover. Zaniolo was making the late run into the box, and it was good cover by Ola Aina in the end to clear it away for the corner. Really good defending, but Villa starting to grow in confidence and work their way into the game in the last few moments. McGinn to take this corner from the right hand side. Goes short again. McGinn gets the ball back, cuts it back to Cash. Cash on the flank, back to McGinn. McGinn, right-footed delivery into the back post. Lucadinha takes it down, trying to strike it. Does take a deflection of Anthony Elanga that time, and that will be another Villa corner. Those short corners seem to work for Villa. They find the deliveries in the second, third phases of the attack. Fun says, I think Luton will survive. I'm constantly getting you're mad and stuff, but they held Tottenham to only 1 goal, so I think they can do it. It's a long way. We'll see what Luton can do against Liverpool this afternoon. 4:30 kickoff. Douglas Luiz to take this corner for Villa. Whipped in, right into the box, headed away by Murillo that time, and well defended by Nottingham Forest. Villa have it back just inside the Forest half here with Diaby. He's all the way back there. It's not where he wants to be on the pitch. Moussa Diaby. The Villa front two have really struggled to get on the ball this afternoon so far. Watkins has had 4 touches, and Moussa Diaby has had 6 touches. 10 touches combined this afternoon between Watkins and Diaby so far after 27 minutes. Here's Lucadinha. Back to Pau Torres, also inside the Forest half now, trying to flick it round the corner, but Forest done well. And Awonyi now picking up for Forest. Gibbs White now can switch it. Raw ball to the back post. Here's Anthony Elanga on the far left hand side. Elanga breaking into the box, trying to cut it back. Lovely defending by Boubacar Kamara. Makes the challenge fantastically well to win the ball back for Villa, but they looked exposed there again. That front three of Forest really linking up fantastically well and causing Villa issue after issue. It all starts down the left-hand side when they clear their lines, Forest. Awonyi just makes the run out to the right-hand side. It leaves the middle of the pitch completely free with Gibbs White also on the right, who switches it to the left to find Elanga, who's just marked by Kamara. Elanga tries to break into the box, and a fantastic kind of lunging challenge from Boubacar Kamara to win the ball back off Anthony Elanga. Really, really good defending from Villa, but last-ditch defending that was, but initially from Forest, very impressive in attacking areas so far. They've only scored 10 goals prior to this game. They're averaging a goal a game this campaign. Ball in behind again from Forest. They had bodies up there, but again, straight the way through to Emi Martinez. Not the delivery they would have wanted. But in the wide areas, Forest are completely overrunning Aston Villa at the moment, I have to say. Pau Torres. Down the left-hand side, Lucadinha. Back to Torres. Do a stats check for you in just a moment about this game. Here's John McGinn, Villa captain. Out to the left flank, finds Lucadinha in space. Dina with the early cross this time, right across the box, and Zaniolo made the run again, but couldn't cut the ball across in time. It was wide of the left post and just kind of slid it out of play. It's really good football again from Villa. Luca Digne goes for the fizzed cross this time from the left. Takes a slight deflection, I think, off Aina on the way through maybe, and a sliding one from Zaniolo. Couldn't get it accurate towards the goal past Vlachodimos, but that was better again from Villa. They're showing glimpses of what they can do in attacking areas. Sangare loses the ball. Kamara trying to find Watkins. Lovely hold-up play. Douglas Luiz. Now Diaby at the back post. Crosses it. Didn't catch it right there, Moussa Diaby. Has the skill and the ability and the talent to do so much better with that ball, but when he caught it in the air, he couldn't bring it down and put a decent delivery in. He kind of struck right through the ball and hoofed it out of play for a goal kick to Nottingham Forest, but should be doing better there, Villa, from that position, winning the ball back high up on their press, and should be making Forest pay for that mistake, but Forest escape from that. 30 minutes gone, Forest leading Villa by a goal to nil. Ola Aina in the 5th minute, putting Forest 1-0 up, and he's just won Forest a free kick here, Ola Aina. Off, I think, couldn't see who the Villa player was there. If I get a replay I would, but Forest have a free kick just on the halfway line, literally exactly on the halfway line. And Villa playing a very, very high line around about halfway into their own half, actually closer to the centre circle than their own final third. And now that's a lovely ball. Dominguez trying to find it through. That was good covering by Pau Torres and clears it out of play for a throw-in, but it's a nice ball. Free kick's taken quickly. It's a nice kind of slotted ball. The Villa played such a high line that Forest can make those runs in behind. Dominguez made that run down the right flank, and Pau Torres was on the cover to stop him from delivering into the box, but again, good idea from Forest. Niakate to take this long throw then into the Villa box. Niakate, long throw into the box. Villa can't clear it away, but it bounces nicely for them and helped on to their goalkeeper, Emi Martinez, who will look to fire long. Forest dealt with that well through Toffolo, and Dominguez with the last touch will give Villa the throw in. Let me just tell you what the stats are at the moment. Villa having more of the possession, 66% of the ball for Villa to Forest's 34. Forest have had 2 shots, Villa have also had 2 shots, but Forest have the shot on target. Now they're in behind again, Forest. Here's Awoniyi. Nice ball from Dominguez. Finds Awoniyi. Flicks it on for Alanga on the overlap, but heavy touch by Anthony Alanga on the right foot, and that runs for a goal kick. But again, Forest again win the ball, the duel in the middle of the pitch, and Villa are completely exposed from then on out. They beat the press, Forest, and the delivery in behind from Dominguez, it carries Awoniyi a bit wide, but he sees the run of Alanga on the overlap, tries to play it through, and Alanga, it's a lovely weighted ball, but Alanga just takes a heavy touch with his right foot. That just evades him, goes behind for a goal kick. But Forest can kind of gather one of those attacks and be a bit more composed, like they were in that attack for the goal. They can really cause Villa a lot of problems. Villa yet to have a shot on target in this game. Both of their shots have either been off target or blocked. None on target just yet. Forest's last win against Aston Villa was back in February of 2017. That's their only win in over 30 years against Aston Villa. It was at the City Ground that day in a 2-1 win against Villa. Villa went down to 10. Jack Grealish sent off in that game. We're actually 1-0 down in that one. Forest came back and won it through Ben Burton Diaz and added injury time at the end of the second half. Villa have a delivery whipped in, cleared away by Aina. Torres keeps it alive. Luiz. Awoniyi just wins it off Douglas Luiz. He felt it was fouled, but nothing in that for me. Mangala. Alanga down the left. All inside the Forest half at the moment. The Forest players trying to get that out ball correct. And Toffolo was going nowhere and had the last touch. Villa will get a kind of cheap throw in, really, from that position. Here's Pau Torres. Digne down the left. 11 minutes of the first half to go. Forest leading Villa by a goal to nil. As I mentioned, only 2 clubs have more wins than Aston Villa since Unai Emery's taken over. Man City and Arsenal. Aston Villa have a chance if they win this afternoon to be second in the table behind Man City and third behind Man City and Tottenham. Here's Diaby on the edge, facing the other way, facing his own goal, and Forest deal with that well. The ball trying to find Awoniyi on the run. Dragged out to the left-hand side. Here's Awoniyi trying to find other bodies. Alanga's making that run. Gibbs wide at the back post. Goes for Alanga. Back to Mangala. Forest on the attack here. Out wide to Toffolo on the overlap. Toffolo with the delivery in. Cleared away by Luis. Mangala keeps it in. Brought down by Toffolo again. Alanga trying to link up with Toffolo, but that one's a bit misplaced, and Villa recover the ball in their own right back area, and McGinn with a clearance. Murillo under pressure. He loses his duel. Now Villa have bodies forward. It's a 3-on-3 here. Moussa Diaby. Can he find the ball? He finds it to Zaniolo to level it. Zaniolo, big save by Vlachodimos. Massive save by the Forest keeper, Odysseus Vlachodimos. 3-on-3 from Aston Villa. Murillo just takes an awful touch with it. Watkins picks it up. Finds it to Zaniolo, who gets Diaby in, and Zaniolo makes that run. Aina's left him, and just about recovering in time, forces Zaniolo into a strike early on, and it's a good save by Vlachodimos, closing his legs at the right time, going wide for the Villa corner, but that looked much better from Villa. Without the Forest keeper there, he didn't get the save. Villa would be level, but they should have taken more opportunity from that kind of attack and display there, Villa. The corner whipped in, really deep. Vlachodimos with the punch away. Diaby keeps it alive. Cash. Now down the right hand side. Left-footed delivery to the back post. Dominguez with a diving header out for the corner to Aston Villa. Dominguez feeling his head here. Felt he was hit in the process of going up for that header there, Nicolas Dominguez, but the referee sees nothing wrong there. It was Zaniolo with the cross from the left-hand side, or right-hand side, sorry, with the left foot, trying to find Douglas Luiz in there, and Dominguez diving for it. Just kind of hits into Douglas Luiz while he was clearing the ball. It was a really good clearance by Dominguez. Spotted the threat of Luiz running in behind and got the ball away for the corner. It's Villa's 5th corner of the game. Forest yet to have a corner. Villa corner from the left. Whipped in by Luis. Again Vlachodimos with a parry away. Diaby picks it up and has to go back to Emi Martinez inside his own half. And Martinez trying to find that ball forward. Long ball forward. That's headed on by Watkins, but straight back to Vlachodimos in the Forest goal, who will give Forest back possession of the game. I don't think Villa have really shown their level this afternoon so far in this first half. I haven't seen many clear-cut chances from Aston Villa so far this afternoon, really. That's something you would kind of always give at Villa, as they always create a hatful of chances, massive amounts of chances. That's Ola Aina making that run up against Zaniolo. Beaten Zaniolo, brought down there. Aina kept going. Aina cuts it back under the edge, and the strike from Dominguez is over the bar. That was a lovely breakaway by Nottingham Forest. Ola Aina found the space down the right hand side. Zaniolo had to cover it. Digne made the run in. Zaniolo on the cover, just out-muscled there. Zaniolo by Aina. Aina thought he could have went down, but he kept on his feet, cut the ball back to an on-running Dominguez into the box, and just strikes right through it. Leaning back there, Nicolas Dominguez should do better with that strike, but Villa got away with one there. That's what I mean by exposure on that wings. On the wings, when the fullbacks push forward, the midfielders kind of have to be on the cover, and with Zaniolo not being a defender by trade, isn't a left back, is always going to be more exposed than a natural left back in, like the likes of a Luca Digne in that position, and that's where Villa get caught out when their midfielders are on the cover. Because they're not natural defenders, they will be caught out on certain occasions, and sometimes just out-muscled, and they were there on that occasion. Just seeing pictures of a couple of injuries for Forest today. Divock Origi, Chris Wood and Callum Hudson-Odoi all in attendance this afternoon, but not on the bench. They're all pinning their hopes kind of on Taiwo Awoniyi, really. Although Ola Aina has been the main man for them this afternoon, getting the goal. And I think he's just been fouled there again. It's actually Sangari that was fouled that time on that right hand side. So another Forest free kick. 5 minutes plus additional time to go in the first half, and I'm sure Steve Cooper is quite happy with how his side have played so far, especially about the way the scoreline is going. He'd be the happier of the two managers. I would say Unai Emery would be a bit frustrated with his side, really. They haven't really clicked into gear at all this afternoon. They've looked a bit disjointed. Maybe that just needs a few tactical tweakings at half-time to try and improve Villa, their performance, and their ability to find their forwards. Because as I mentioned, Diaby and Watkins have been kind of isolated up there, and Forest have had everything covered to those areas so far in this game. They've had minimal touches. Free kick for Villa there. Pau Torres just fouled there by Taiwo Awoniyi. No complaints from Awoniyi. Must know that he was in the wrong there. So far the stats are level as you like. 3 shots apiece, 1 shot on target apiece, 8 touches in each other's box. It's the only thing that Villa have dominated is the possession. 66% to Forest 34%, but Forest have got big results when having very little of the ball. They are one of the best in the league at doing that, really, Forest. At having very little of the ball and still being able to create chances. They've just given away a corner there. Niakate just having to put it out of play under pressure. So Villa will have another corner. That's another thing they dominated. 6 corners now this afternoon for Villa. Forest yet to get their very first. So Villa corner from the left-hand side. Luiz to deliver. Whipped in, headed away by Dominguez. Bouncing ball, Alanga trying to work it onto the end of it, but Villa do just about enough to keep the possession. Here's Moussa Diaby. Back to his keeper. Under pressure there from Dominguez, who was on the press. Here's Emi Martinez. Time running out in this first half for Villa to go in level. Or at least try and get a good chance that could be a leveller. Pau Torres. Aston Villa won here last in the Championship back in March 2019. A 3-1 win for Villa on that day at the City Ground. And in that game, they did go 1-0 down. John McGinn scored 2 goals in that day, along with Courtney Hawes, to give Villa the 3-1 win. They'll look to try and copy that, but that's, again, Awoniyi's offside there. But they did take a touch of a Villa defender. But the rule is quite clear on that. It has to be an intentional touch by the Villa defender if it is to be resetting the offside trap. Sangari plays the ball for Awoniyi, and Douglas Luiz has a touch on it. There is a touch off Luiz, but I wouldn't say it's an intentional one, and that's why Awoniyi's been given offside there. But I don't agree with that rule. If it touches a defender on the way through, it has to be reset, surely. But intentional or not, offside indeed. Villa have the ball back. Less than 90 seconds into the last minute of the first 45 here. With Villa having the dominance of the ball, but yet to really threaten Forest on many occasions. minimal kind of work for Vlachodimos to do, but he's made a big save already this afternoon and has been there for Forest when he's been called upon this afternoon. Not very much, but he has been there and done his job so far. Cash keeping the ball, finds Diaby on the right flank. Back to Kamara. All the way back to Pau Torres. Trying to keep them on the front foot here. Villa trying to keep themselves on the front foot to try and get a chance. Luis fires the ball forward to Watkins, but he felt he was held, but referee didn't agree. Forest come away with the ball. That's nice quick footwork. Gibbs White on the right has to cut it back to Aina, keeping the possession for us. Mangala. So he's surpassed the 45-minute mark, and we will have 2 additional minutes as Gibbs White's ball in behind. They've made a lot of runners here. Dominguez across, finds Awonyi in the box, brought down. Forest offside. The flag was up. I thought he was going to point to the spot there, Jared Gillett, but the assistant had flagged for an offside against Taiwo Awonyi. I think it was ahead of Dominguez when he played that ball. Was he offside completely? Very close, that. It's a tight one between Dominguez and Awonyi about offsides there. I think the last Villa player, I think it might have been Pau Torres. They are checking this, VAR. So Awonyi's behind the ball. It's whether Dominguez is offside yet. Surely he's clearly offside there. I can see it from the side angle. If he's onside here, I need to go to Specsavers. I think he's offside. If he's onside, then Forest could have a penalty shout here. Because Awonyi was bundled down in the box. They're checking this offside, which must mean they feel that that foul on Awonyi was worthy of a penalty. But this is late drama with VAR at the end of this first half. Forest waiting on a close offside decision. If the goal is given onside, or the pass is onside, it will be a penalty, but I think they're both offside. What's that line? The decision is offside, just as I suspected. As I said, I would need to go to Specsavers if that was given onside. It looked quite clearly on offside there. Nicolas Dominguez, more hopeful than anything from a Forest point of view. But again, those threatening balls in behind. How many times have Forest been given offside this afternoon? They know that that is where they can threaten Aston Villa. 4 times they've been called offside this afternoon, Forest. They know they need to play the balls in behind and threaten that high line of Villa. They just haven't been as cute enough with it as they could be. If they're cuter with it, they will cause them more issues in the second half. They hold a run for slightly a millisecond longer, and they will be able to find the ball in behind. But so far, not as much threat as probably Steve Cooper would have wanted from the ball in behind, but he sees that they're trying that. That's positive from Forest's point of view. We've already played over the 2 minutes, but of course with that VAR check might go for a bit longer here. Jared Gillett's discretion now. Here's Zaniolo for Villa. Down the left is Lucadinha. Can Villa scrap a late equaliser in the first half as Lucadinha's ball into the box, headed down. Calls of handball. Cleared away by Forest. They want a handball, the Villa players, but referees waved it away, and now Forest on the break themselves, maybe? No, for Villa on the cover there. Have the ball back, but they want a handball. All the Villa players are gesturing, but the referee's making no kind of signs that there's anything going on. I think VAR, of course, will check it. They're still having a look at it, VAR, so the game will play on until we get a definitive decision either way. The ball goes out of play, and they will now stop it. And this might be the last action. Could Villa have themselves a penalty before the half for a possible handball? The check is complete, and the decision is no penalty. And that is the half-time whistle from Jared Gillett. A real dramatic end to the half. Just see this again. Ball into the box and headed on by Cash. It misses Murillo's arm and comes off the chest of Harry Toffolo. There's nothing in that. And that is what sees us to half-time then. Half-time at the City ground. And Nottingham Forest lead Aston Villa by a goal to nil. Ola Aina, an unlikely goal scorer, his first ever goal for Forest, has the home side ahead against the travelling Aston Villa. Half time at the City Ground, it's Forest 1, Villa 0. Welcome back to Premier League Live on this Premier League Sunday this afternoon with me, Kevin Ferris. Good afternoon, welcome in if you're just joining us. Half time at the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest to lead Aston Villa by that 1 goal to nil through Ola Aina's goal in the first 5 minutes of the game. We've already had a dramatic weekend of Premier League football already, with some big results around the grounds. Let's bring you up to date with what has happened so far in match week 11 of the Premier League season. Fulham were beaten by a narrow scoreline against Manchester United yesterday on the lunchtime kickoff on the Saturday. Manchester United back to winning ways away at Fulham, a place where they have real joy and where Fulham really cannot get a win for the life of them against Manchester United. No matter how bad they are, they always seem to get a victory. United in that one. The 91st minute winner from Bruno Fernandes to give United the 3 points. Only their 6th win of the season after 11 games. They lost 5 of their first 10, their worst starting record for a good 30-40 years for Manchester United. Another big win in a London derby between Brentford and West Ham, as Brentford eked out a 3-2 win in the end against West Ham United. Brentford took the lead through Neil Maupay early on in the first half before West Ham turned it on its head before half-time. Goals from Mohamed Kudus and Jared Bowen had the Hammers 2-1 up at the break. Mavropanos scored an own goal equaliser to level it for Brentford in the second half before Brentford won it through Nathan Collins in the 69th minute to give Brentford all 3 points. West Ham beaten once again, and Brentford remain the only side that David Moyes is yet to beat in terms of all the teams that he has played in his career as a manager. Brentford the only side he's yet to beat. And that was a 3-2 win for Brentford, which gets them their 4th win of the season, puts them above West Ham, 16 points. Brentford, West Ham on 14, 9th and 11th respectively for those two. Big win for Moyes, for Roy Hodgson on the road away at Burnley. Burnley just cannot seem to get a win for love nor money at the moment. Their 9th defeat of the season was another one, a home defeat to Crystal Palace. The Palace took the lead early on through Jeffrey Schlupp in the first half before a late goal from Tariq Mitchell sealed the victory for them for 2-0. But it was a very close game in the end. For Palace had only 3 shots on target, 32% of the ball. Burnley had 17 shots, 68% possession, but only had an XG of 1.12 compared to that of 1.30 from Crystal Palace. Burnley failing to score yet again in that one. And I think I actually predicted that. I'll go through my Premier League predictions, of course, if you've seen on our shorts page, on shorts, our YouTube shorts this week. On Friday, we uploaded a predictions list for match week 11, which I did this week, and we'll run through those on Monday night, tomorrow night. We'll run through those for you at half time to see how well I did on that one. We'll run you through those tomorrow. Back to the scores then. Everton-Brighton was a cracker of a game at 3 o'clock yesterday, with Everton and Brighton sharing a point apiece. Vitaly Mikalenko put the home side ahead inside 7 minutes. Brighton had a goal cancelled 10 minutes later. They were looking for that equaliser, couldn't find that equaliser till late on. 84th minute own goal from Ashley Young give Brighton the equaliser. Brighton, who only had 2 shots on target on the day, but had 80% of the ball. That is their highest match possession percentage since Roberto De Zerbi has taken over. And if I'm not mistaken, that is their highest match percentage of possession in their history, which shows how dominant Brighton were on the ball, but couldn't get the shots off. But they ended up getting a point away at Everton, a tough place to go, as Goodison Park. And they did get that point, Brighton, that keeps them in 7th place above Manchester United in the table. Everton, different fortunes for them at the moment. They're 16th in the table, but have that kind of gap between them and the bottom 4 of Bournemouth, Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United. A 5-point gap between Everton and Bournemouth at the moment in 16th and 17th. Has them okay just outside that kind of relegation cluster of teams. A massive win for Manchester City to retake top spot in the Premier League yesterday, as Bournemouth were thrashed at the Etihad 6-1. Goals on that day from Jeremy Doku, Bernardo Silva, Manuel Akanji, Phil Foden and Nathan Ake. 5 scores, and Bernardo Silva with a brace yesterday to put 6 past Bournemouth for Manchester City. Bournemouth got their only goal of the game through Luis Sinisterra to make it 4-1 at the time. But City went on to score 2 more goals before the end of the match to wrap it all up at 6-1. Biggest victory of the season for Manchester City, which puts them back to top spot, 9th win of the season out of 11 games. Only could be regain the top spot this weekend by Tottenham if they win against Chelsea tomorrow night. And of the final of the 3 o'clock kickoffs yesterday, Sheffield United 2, Wolves 1 in that one. Sheffield United getting their first win of the season in the Premier League, the last club inside the top 6 divisions of football in English football to get a win. They're the last club to get a win of the season. Their first win puts them level on points with Burnley. And that one, a late penalty from Ollie Norwood, the 100th minute of the game. Controversial as to whether that penalty should have been given. I felt it wasn't a penalty. Wolves were hard done by for quite a few times this season they have been, and Gary O'Neill was very vocal about that after the game. But a very even game overall. A 1-1 draw would have been fair, but Wolves beaten late on for their 5th time of the season. Then the late game yesterday, Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Controversy around this one. Not from my point of view, but I felt that they were okay. Arsenal probably had the better of everything in the game. They just lacked their chances. Only 1 shot on target for Arsenal yesterday in that one against Newcastle. 14 shots, 59% possession. It was just, in the end, Newcastle scrambled the ball over the bar, or over the line, and got the ball into that got them the 3 points, Anthony Gordon, and that's what it comes down to when games are that tight. That's what it comes down to. Singular, even if it comes to the most scrappiest of goals, they all count and they all get you the 3 points in the end. And Newcastle, another clean sheet. Arsenal losing for the very first time this season, and you wouldn't blame them for losing a place like St James's Park, but those are the stadiums you need to go to and win if you want to be title challengers. But they couldn't do that yesterday, and their first defeat of the season remaining means Tottenham are the only remaining unbeaten side in the Premier League. And of course, Nottingham Forest won, Aston Villa 0 at half time. 2 more games to come from the Premier League weekend for you. We have a real good game at Kenilworth Road later this afternoon. Luton against Liverpool at 4:30. We'll have team news in around about 30 minutes from that one. During the live commentary of the second half between Forest and Villa, we'll give you the team news for that game at Kenilworth Road later this evening, later this afternoon, before we have a NFL action as the Dallas Cowboys head to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's tonight, 9:25 on LFS. Live commentary from that one for you tonight. Looking forward to that one. Before then, we wrap up our Premier League weekend as Tottenham host Chelsea in a London derby. That's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock UK time. Okay then, the second half is on the way very shortly from Villa Park, from the City. I keep saying that today. From the City Ground, as Nottingham Forest, through Ola Aina's goal, lead Villa by 1-0 at the break. The second half is on the way very shortly. Welcome back to Premier League Live ahead of the second half between Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa. Let's just have a look at the table of the way it stands at the moment in the Premier League. Manchester City in top spot after their big win against Bournemouth yesterday. Tottenham still to play this weekend. They're in second. They could go back top of the table and 2 points clear of Manchester City if they win tomorrow against Chelsea and keep their unbeaten run going. Arsenal, their first defeat of the season, sees them stay in third, but they could drop as far as fifth if Liverpool and Villa both win this afternoon. Liverpool still yet to play. They play at 4:30 against Luton. They could go as far as second in the table. They could go above Spurs by the end of the day before Spurs play tomorrow. Villa could go as high as third. But if Liverpool win later this evening, they will go up to fourth and push Arsenal back down to fifth. If they win, that is, at Nottingham Forest. They're currently losing for the third time this season. Their 15th goal they've conceded this season. Villa has them on 22 points. Newcastle, Brighton, Manchester United, Brentford and Crystal Palace make up the top 10. And in the bottom half, just inside the bottom half, are Nottingham Forest, who are winning at the moment against Villa. West Ham are there as well. 14 points for West Ham, who were beaten yesterday. Forest on course for their third win of the season. They'll be on 13 points after this win if they get it. Chelsea to play tomorrow. They will drop to 13th this afternoon, but have to win tomorrow if they want to get back into the top half of the table. Wolves, Fulham and Everton are in that kind of clutch of 11-12 points at the moment, all outside relegation. Bournemouth just outside relegation by a singular point. Luton playing later this evening. If they win against Liverpool or draw against Liverpool, they could get out of the bottom three. And Burnley, Sheffield United, the two worst teams in the league at the moment, in the bottom two. Right, we're going to head back to the City Ground for the second half, where Villa are making changes. Welcome back to the City Ground then, ahead of this second half start. Villa are going to make changes, we'll tell you about those in a moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. It would be greatly appreciated. We thank you all for watching and listening in this afternoon to the game with us here on LFS. It's massively appreciated. Well, of course, Unai Emery not happy about that first half performance from his side, and he's going to make a change. Nicolo Zaniolo is coming off and replaced by Leon Bailey. So a more attacking change, going to a 4-3-3 it seems. Villa then putting an extra player forward, switching the system. McGinn, Kamara and Luis will make up the midfield three, with Diaby, Watkins and now Leon Bailey at the front three. The back four stay exactly as they were. Forest, I don't think made any changes. Wouldn't know why they would make changes. 1-0 up at half time. Cameras on Ola Aina, the star of the first half, that got the only goal of the first half, and put Nottingham Forest ahead. Ollie Watkins just having a chat with one of the coaches there of Aston Villa. Last bits of information before the second half gets underway. Unai Emery just emerging from the tunnel here at the City Ground as the second half is underway then. Villa getting us back underway for the second 45. A second 45 in which they need to find goals if they want to turn this result around. Forest unbeaten at home in the Premier League this season. 4 home games and 1 win and 3 draws at home this campaign. Only conceded 5 goals at home this campaign. They're 9th in terms of the home form table. The top team in the home form this season is Villa, who look to try and strike early. Straight up Vlachodimos from Ollie Watkins. Ball down the left hand side. Watkins made the run in behind. Might have been just offside there against Niakate, but just too tight of an angle for him to strike at it. Did get the strike off at Vlachodimos, and there's a bit of danger here for Forest in their own box. Or sorry, for Villa in their own box, sorry, as they deliver the ball there. Forest, Toffolo cuts it back. Mangala on the edge, strikes from distance. What a save, bounce it over the line. Did it go over the line? It did. Forest have a second goal. RL Mangala with a finish. It was a fantastic save by Emi Martinez, but not good enough, surely, because it bounced back down and over the line. Emi Martinez can't believe it. I think the whole of the City Ground can't believe it. There's a ball down the left-hand side. It's not a great cross. It bounces around. Villa just don't deal with it. Kept alive by Awonyi. Toffolo picks it up, cuts it back to the edge of the box again. And Mangala, right-footed, it was going towards goal, and Martinez kind of dives for it, palms it up into the air. It bounces back down over the goal line, and Nottingham Forest, early in the second half, have a second goal, but they're checking for a possible offside VAR. Well, surely that's not offside. Although it's very close. It's Taiwo Awonyi's left foot. To me, that looks so tight, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Awonyi's just onside. Just wait and see what VAR will say. Well, the Forest fans in the 47th minute are having a rouse of applause for Adam Johnson, the hockey player that lost his life very recently. Played number 47. Lost his life very recently. Really shocked the footballing, shocked the sporting world very recently, that sad death of Adam Johnson. That goal is confirmed, by the way. Just as I was mentioning that, VAR had confirmed it, so the goal is given, and Nottingham Forest, early in the second half, have a second goal, and it's now a bit of a mountain for Villa to climb, really. After making that halftime change, try and make them more attacking, They now really need to go for it, Villa, because they're 2-0 behind and not just 1-0 behind. And this is where Forest need to maintain it. They lost games from 2-0 scorelines last season, I remember. I think it was Fulham and Bournemouth. They played at home. They were 2-0 up against those two sides and ended up losing 3-2 on both occasions. It's Alanga trying to run at Matty Cash. Can they make a 3-0 Forest? Cash slips. Kept alive. Dominguez. Awoniyi spinning in the box. Falls to Dominguez. Saved by Emi Martinez. But Forest are purring here. They're really on goal-scoring form. Alanga just makes the run down the left, up against Cash. Cash slips. Alanga picks up the loose ball, finds it to Dominguez, finds Awoniyi in the box, who keeps it alive just enough for Dominguez to break onto it. Right-footed, side-footed by Dominguez. A tame shot in the end. Should have done better. But that was close from Forest again, who have looked really threatening at the start of the second half. Already getting a second early on. Looking to do even better in the first couple of minutes of this half. Well, Murillo just defending there. Watkins had made the run and he went down in the box. He felt he was fouled, Ollie Watkins. Might be just a follow-through issue here, but I don't think that's a penalty. Just see it here, Murillo and Watkins. It's outside the box anyway. Oh! Oh, goodness. Murillo, just as he was defending, he had his eyes on the ball, and just he was trying to get his balance. He kind of steps on the backside of Ollie Watkins. And that will be a bit painful. Very painful in that area of the body. Wow. This has to be one of the most craziest goals of the season, this. A long strike from distance. The keeper makes an incredible save initially. Looked incredible. And he just palmed it up. He didn't palm it away or palm it over the bar, Emi Martinez, and that was the issue. He palmed it straight up in the air. It bounced back down, and the spin on the ball carried it over the goal line. He couldn't recover it just in time before it had gone over the goal line, but surely that's one of the craziest goals we've seen this season. Here's Leon Bailey for Villa, though, trying to get one back. Really good defending, and Bailey taking down a Forest player in the box there, Dominguez, and that will be a free kick to Nottingham Forest inside their own 18-yard box. Well, there we go. Certainly led it kind of back into life quite quickly into the second half, this game. And that's a face of Unai Emery that really trying to figure out what his team have to do. Well, they know what they need to do. They need to try and find attacking areas and find the spaces to get the shots off, but they're not doing that at the moment. Forest have just taken their initiative, taken their opportunities when they've come. Two really good opportunities and two really good goals. One quite fluky, the second one quite fluky, but you have to take the shots. And they tell you, what is it, you don't score with 100% of the shots you don't take kind of thing. You take the shot, you've got a chance of it going in, whether that is off the keeper or not. You still have that chance of it going in. Whether it will be counted as an own goal, I think it will be, because of how good the strike was from Ola Mangala, and it was on target initially anyway. But it was a real howler from Emi Martinez. Should have done a lot better from that position. Should have palmed it over the bar. But from my point of view, sitting in a room doing commentary, it's pretty easy for me to say that. That's a lovely move by Villa down the left-hand side, and the ball to the byline. John McGinn wins a corner. Something that Villa really did dominate in that first half was corners. Had a total of 6 corners in that first half, Aston Villa. This will be their 7th of the game, their first of the second half. Douglas Luiz to take it. He's known for his really difficult to defend kind of deliveries, Douglas Luiz. They defended them well in the first half, Forest. Right-footed from Luiz. Onto the edge, flicked on by Watkins. Bouncing behind, kept in actually by Villa. But Forest pick it back up. Clear their lines. from Niakate, straight out of play for a Villa throw in that. Getting the ball as far away from their own goal as possible. Here's Ezri Konsa for Aston Villa. 8.5 minutes gone of the second half. Forest 2, Villa 0. Douglas Luiz making the run through the middle, trying to find Watkins, who couldn't break away from Niakate there, and Aina wins it back. Clears his lines again. Brought down by Pau Torres on the halfway line for Villa, who will come again. Down the left-hand side, Aston Villa through Lucadinha. Plays it across to Watkins. Linking up with McGinn, who's made the run beyond. McGinn plays it into the box. Watkins almost on the end of it. Just over Ollie Watkins' head, but if he'd got connection on that, surely that would have been a Villa goal. But it just evaded the top of Ollie Watkins' head. Really good opportunity, really good delivery by John McGinn. Quite a perfect delivery. Watkins just didn't dive for it enough. Kind of in time, just slightly too kind of late, really. But again, Villa starting to show threat. But that time there's an issue. Dominguez was offside there. He won the ball back initially off Matty Cash, but he was offside initially there, Nicolas Dominguez. So that will be a free kick to Villa. Starting to find their forwards, Watkins, or Villa. There's a cracker of a forward, Stan Collymore. Dinia's delivery, deflected into the box. Mangala clears it away. Flicked on now for Awonyi by Gibbs-White. Cuts it back. Sangare to pick it up for Forest. Spins away from McGinn. Now down the right-hand side is offside there from Morgan Gibbs-White. And that's a lot of times they've been caught offside for us. It's 5th time in the game, but Gibbs-White's telling his team to move it quicker, because you're always going to get caught offside if you don't play it quick enough. That's probably what's let Forest down in that occasion, is they haven't played it quick enough in those occasions, and they've just been slightly offside on quite a few occasions. Such fine margins. But they are still continuing to threaten that Villa back line. Hasn't moved away from that at all, Unai Emery, in this second half. Diaby finds Kamara on the edge of the box. Moussa Diaby back to Cash. Cash out wide to Bailey, who's on the right flank here, linking up with Diaby. Ball goes back to Matty Cash, trying to break down the right-hand side, but does well. Spins round, gives it to Kamara. Now Luis, back to Boubacar Kamara. Villa moving the ball, but not very far. Here's Pau Torres, though. Down the left-hand side to find Digne. Back to Torres. Villa piling bodies into the Forest final third here. Almost all of their players are inside the Forest final third. Forest have all their players inside their own defensive third at the moment, it seems. But they're defending it well, and Mangala with another clearance. Flicked on by Gibbs-White. Brought down by Awonyi. Can't hold it up. Lost the possession there. Taiwo Awonyi. Forest coming under the cosh a bit, it seems, in the last few moments. Villa maintaining that pressure. Here's Douglas Luiz in the middle. Will strike from distance, blocked by Mangala. And Awonyi trying to pick up the scraps, but Cash keeps it alive for Villa. Just keeps them in possession. Kamara. Now Konsa. The tempo's kind of gone up another level here. Boubacar Kamara makes the run in through the middle. Finds the space. Watkins linking up with Kamara again, but Forest cut that one out the second time of asking. Alanga now. Toffolo with a long ball clearance. And that one's all the way through back to Emi Martinez. We'll give it straight back to Ezri Konsa. So Villa continuing to dominate possession. But at the moment, not been able to find the finish so far. Here's a ball to Moussa Diaby. Now finds Bailey. Tries to find the top left corner, but could only find those stands behind the goal. Fired up too high, Leon Bailey. You can see what he was trying to do. It's a lovely ball from Dina. Finds Diaby on the edge of the 18-yard box, who plays it out to the right-hand side for an unmarked Leon Bailey, who takes a strike with his right foot but curls it too much and doesn't curl it enough, sorry. And it goes wide of the left post, high and wide behind for the goal kick. Villa are making another change. And they're bringing off Matty Cash. And he's being replaced by Yuri Tielemans, so a defender for a midfielder. Another change in kind of the way that Unai Emery wants to play. 13, 14 minutes of the second half gone, and he's already made another change. It's 2 changes they've made already, Villa. Trying to change the dynamics of this game and the outcome of it so far with them 2-0 down. Trying to get more creative players, although Matty Cash is a very creative player, albeit from a defensive position. Villa battling around the ball. They've had 75% of the possession in the second half, Villa. But yet Forest have still had more shots on target. 2 shots on target from Forest. Villa have had just the 1. Villa have had more shots though, 4-2. Here's Yuri Tielemans. Finds Bailey. 2 substitutes linking up. Bailey with the ball in. Deflected away. Diaby well covered there, and Dominguez is taken out. Not far away from his own 18-yard box, and that will be a free kick to Nottingham Forest. Just as we hit the 60-minute mark. It was Bailey looking for the cross. It deflects off Toffolo. Diaby tried to recover it on the edge, and just a challenge in on Nicolas Dominguez there will give Forest the free kick. Kind of relieve the pressure that they've been under for the last few moments. Give them a bit of breathing, a bit of time to breathe and take a breath and kind of recompose themselves back on the ball and try and create something more from this Forest. 3-0 and that would surely be game done and dusted. But at 2-0, as so often is kind of catchphrased, it's the most dangerous scoreline in football, 2-0. Villa coming into this one as favourites, really. Forest kind of causing a slight upset, it seems. Despite their really, really good home form. You would have put a bet on Villa being favourites and possibly winning this game today. Would have been high in the rankings. 73% of voters from a very widely received poll predicted a Villa win today. From our own poll in the chat, 62% predicted a Villa win. Only 23% saying Forest would win. So, certainly no one really predicted this, but I think in my predictions I predicted a 3-2 win for Villa. I did predict a close game. I didn't think Villa would absolutely pummel Forest, but I knew Forest would be competitive, but I did feel that Villa would just get the win in the end, I think. But still a long way for them to go, and they have to score 3 goals to get that result. And I did predict a 3-2 win for Villa here. And my predictions, you can go and watch that on our shorts page on the YouTube channel. Also on our TikTok as well, and on our Instagram, or the LFS predictions, all up on all 3 of those platforms. If you want to follow us on all those, at LF Streams or LF Streams 2 on any of those platforms. Forest just sitting a bit deeper now, allowing Villa to have the ball and kind of using their shape to kind of stifle them at the moment. Here's Boubacar Kamara. Has to come deeper to pick up the ball a bit. That midfield is quite a bit congested by Forest. There's the ball in behind. The run was made by Luca Digne, but that ball was far too straight from Pau Torres. Straight through to Odysseus Flacademos in the Forest goal, who's pulled off some good bits of play today. Forest breaking forward, Awoniyi putting pressure on Torres, but does well there, Pau Torres, against very physical Taiwo Awoniyi. Tielemans looking for a long ball forward. Cleared away by Niakate, and Aina goes down. Wanted a free kick. Not been a day for Ollie Watkins just yet. So far this afternoon, I mentioned how little of the ball he was receiving in the first half. He has only had 20 touches, to be fair. That's better than the first half. He had 4 touches in the first half. That's another late foul. That's a foul by Kamara, who will get the first booking in the afternoon here. Forrest making the run down the left, and a late challenge on the on-running Anthony Alanga. It's a Senegal one by Kamara. Was nowhere near the ball. The ball had already well gone by Alanga, and a late challenge there from Kamara taking out the Forest winger. And that will give him a yellow card, Kamara, and give Forest a free kick. Kamara's 4th yellow card of the season, so have to watch himself in the future for the next 8 games at least, until we get to the halfway point of the season. He wants to avoid a suspension. To the Forest captain, Morgan Gibbs-White, to take this free kick for the home side. From the left-hand side, high Villa line again, right-footed delivery. A lot of Forest players in there, but there was a foul initially on Douglas Luiz, which will give Villa the free kick from the Forest free kick. They had a lot of bodies up there, Nottingham Forest. I think I counted 6 or 7. Maybe even 8 in the final back line. Up against the back line of Villa. A lot of bodies there, but Villa did come out of that one with a free kick. That foul on Douglas Luiz. 25 minutes to go. Villa still 2-0 down here at the City Ground. Goals by Mangala and Ola Aina. Unlikely goal scorers, really, in this one, but they'll be happy that they all count, really. No matter who scores, they all count. That's what matters for Forest. McGinn trying to find the run of Digne again, but Aina battling. Almost lost out there to Digne. Aina keeps the pressure and clears the ball away. Does well. McGinn trying to make the run past Sangare. Battling. Niakate wins the ball back. Felt he was fouled there, McGinn, and the clearance from Niakate straight out of play. But John McGinn is now screaming at the referee, saying that was a foul, but the referee waved it away. Nothing doing there from the Australians' point of view, the referee Jared Gillett. Don't forget we have team news to come from Luton Liverpool to come in the next few minutes. And we'll get that for you for that game. And see what Jurgen Klopp is going to line out against a Luton side that kind of struggled for Premier League points this season, but are certainly not the worst performing team in the league. The other 2 promoted sides have performed worse than them this season, Burnley and Sheffield United. We'll get team news from that one very, very shortly. Villa have just won another free kick. Boubacar Kamara fouled that time. Villa free kick just inside the Forest half. Take it short. Here's Esri Konsa to Torres. Down the left to Luca Digne. Finds the run of Luiz. Luiz across the box, trying to find Watkins. Half cleared away by Forrest, kept alive though. Diaby looking for the finish. Vlachodimos diving to his right and gets the catch behind the ball to deny Moussa Diaby a goal. Lovely run beyond by Douglas Luiz. Got to the byline, cut it back. Forrest couldn't clear it properly. Villa kept it alive. Bailey flicked it round the corner for Diaby, and Diaby tried to find the bottom left corner. The goal of Vlachodimos was quick to that one and got the catch on the ball. Forest haven't kept many clean sheets this season. Of course, they definitely didn't get a clean sheet last week with Matt Turner and his mistakes in the Forest goal. They want to keep one today, but the Villa are piling on the pressure to deny them that. Here's Leon Bailey with a header behind for a goal kick. That seems to be this kind of the theme for Villa at the moment. They are getting the ball into the area. It's the final touch, the final pass, the final kind of bit of action. Just can't convert those good chances. Forest only able to keep 2 clean sheets this season, along with Aston Villa, who of course haven't kept a clean sheet today after conceding 2 goals, but still on for Forest. Not many clean sheets kept this season in the Premier League. The most clean sheets is by Arsenal, Crystal Palace and Newcastle on 5. And Man City and Spurs on 4. So not many clean sheets. A lot of high scoring games and games where both teams have scored, considering we're in match week 11. Less than a 50% success rate in terms of clean sheets from even the best performing sides defensively. Vlachodimos to take that goal kick. Fires it long through up the middle, trying to find a 1-2, but Villa win the first header. Brought down by McGinn. And now Watkins has made the run out to the left. Back to McGinn. Back in field to Douglas Luiz. And Tielemans under pressure. Keeps the ball. Sangare and Dominguez were both challenging there, but Tielemans comes away with the ball. Here is Tielemans. Torres. Attack against defence at the moment. Douglas Luiz. Lovely ball to find Diaby. Diaby breaks into the box trying to skip away. Bailey on the cover. Bailey helping out. Cuts to the back post. Flicked across. Bouncing around. They'll have bodies everywhere in the strike by Yuri Tielemans as well over the bar. They have so many bodies in there, Villa. It's a lovely ball initially by Douglas Luiz to find Diaby. Diaby's then cleared away. Bailey keeps it alive. Flicks it to the back post. Stands it up. Digne with a cross. It then comes to the edge of the box and Diaby lays it off for Tielemans, who fires straight through the ball and over the bar. But Forest very deep at the moment. And getting ever so deeper, and that's kind of giving Villa kind of the license to throw a lot of bodies forward against this Forest team, but they're holding on at the moment, Nottingham Forest. And they're going to make a change as well. Harry Toffolo, one of the changes from the starting 11 from last week. He's taken off and he's replaced by Serge Aurier, who was benched for Toffolo for this game. So a swap there in defence for Forest. A bit of fresh legs to try and help out defensively. Into the last 20 minutes. Villa 2-0 down against Forest at the moment. They need to get one goal to try and ignite that spark in them. That maybe they could push on for even further. Even more, even a point or maybe even 3 in the most amazing of circumstances from a Villa point of view. We're going to get team news from Kenilworth Road in a moment for you. Well, we just get that team news confirmed for you. We'll deliver that right away. And Liverpool looking to go third in the Premier League table, or second, sorry, in the Premier League table if they win this afternoon. Villa would go third if they win, and Liverpool lose this afternoon. They would be third by the end of the day, but they are currently not winning. They're currently losing. So they will only go as high, will stay in 5th at the moment. Villa, if they lose today, won't be able to break into the top 4, no matter what the results are elsewhere. Villa trying to push for that comeback. Digne with the ball in, cleared away. Let's bring you that team news then from Kenilworth Road, as we've just confirmed that Luton, the Luton team is as follows. As Villa on the ball again. Thomas Kaminski in goal. A back 5 of Issa Kabore, Gabriel Osho, Tom Lockyer the captain, Ted Mengi and Alfie Doughty in defence. Ross Barkley, Marvellous Nakamba and Andros Townsend in midfield. Real old school midfield that. And Carlton Morris and Chidozie Ogbene are the front 2 for Luton. For Liverpool, Alisson starts in goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ibrahim Konate, captain Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez are the back 4. Gomez starting at left back. A midfield 3 of Alexis McAllister, Ryan Gravenberch and Dominic Szoboszlai, with a front 3 of Mohamed Salah, Diogo Jota and Darwin Nunez. A strong Liverpool side against Luton at Kenilworth Road. Kickoff at 4:30 this afternoon. Villa have a corner. And they're going to wait a second. The referee has to sort a few issues out in the box. Douglas Luiz and Vlachodimos there involved with something. And referee just having a chat with Douglas Luiz before this corner is taken. And just a fist bump there between Vlachodimos and Luiz, settling their differences. Corner from the right hand side for Villa. John McGinn to take it, left footed, whipped in to the back post, headed across goal, bouncing around. It's not cleared away by Forrest, off the line by Ola Aina, I think. Sorry, Sangare, apologies. Couldn't see the numbers, and Vlachodimos up. Strong goalkeeping from the second delivery. Threatening from Villa. They're trying to pile the pressure on that Forest defence, but they hold firm. John McGinn with a cross right to the back post. It bounced up in the air from the header from Douglas Luiz, I think it is. It is, and then the second one is cleared away and well dealt with by Forest defensively. Vlachodimos has just gone down here. Whether it's just an issue after the challenge, but he's holding his lower back. And VAR, I think they're checking something. Stuart Atwell, I think. I don't know what they're checking, but they actually aren't looking at something. VAR, I was told they were, but they're apparently not. Now they are. Confusion amongst our feed here that the commentators haven't a clue. Well, we're hearing that VAR checking for a possible... What's that? A possible penalty, maybe? Yeah, nah. Nothing in that for me. Sangare going for the ball. Kind of flicks his leg up, but it's not a high boot against Lucadinha. Nothing in that for me. Vlachodimos, after receiving a bit of treatment, having a drink of something, is back to his feet. Matt Turner is profusely warming up on the sidelines, but Vlachodimos is back onto his feet, so I'm unsure as to whether Matt Turner will be called upon. I don't think so, because Vlachodimos is back to his feet and looks to be okay at the moment. We have a rainbow. A rainbow has made its appearance here at the City Ground. What a rainbow that is. Massive rainbow. Wow, that's beautiful. There we go. Maybe they're got a pot of gold waiting for him at the end of the game, Nottingham Forest. 3 points would feel like a pot of gold against a very, very good Villa side. And they've been off the boil a bit today. Villa, Forest have taken their chances when they've come. Vlachodimos takes the kick. First header won by Forest, second one by Villa, brought down by Bailey. Bouncing around, Villa just keep it through Konsa. In the box, here's Leon Bailey trying to force his way forward. Well covered by Forest, and they won it back. Halanga, though, gives it straight back to Villa. Here's Tielemans to pick it up. Tielemans with the delivery into the box, cleared away by Aurier. Kept alive by Kamara. Luis. Villa upping the tempo, trying to push. Douglas Luiz goes down off the ball. Delivery from the left-hand side, bouncing around. Header by Bailey goes wide. I think Bailey and Diaby got on each other's way there. That's what really let that whole attack down. Luis did go down off the ball. See what happened here. Him and Morgan Gibbs-White just clashing, it seems. Yeah, it's nothing in that. Gibbs-White is just tracking back, and Luis just runs into him. Didn't spot him and run into Morgan Gibbs-White there. Nothing really in that for me. Just a collision. Forest couldn't keep the ball there. Villa have it back. Here's Yuri Tielemans. 13 minutes to go for Villa to try and conjure up a comeback, but Forest holding firm at the moment. But here's Leon Bailey in the box. Calls it back to Watkins. McGinn round the corner, finds Lucadinha. Lucadinha looks to strike it himself, but goes behind for a goal kick. High and wide, that from Lucadinha. It's not the man Villa would want striking from inside the box there when they've got such quality. The likes of McGinn, Watkins, Bailey and Diaby also in there. It's not the man you want it to fall to, but it did. No offence to Lucadinha, but he's not a forward. And they're going to make another change here, Villa. Boubacar Kamara is coming off. He's replaced by Diego Carlos, so another attacking player, I believe. There's massive injury issues since he joined Villa. Diego Carlos. Here's Watkins. Cuts it back to Luis. Tried to keep it alive to Diaby, but Forest have the cover there through Alanga. He loses it out though. Loses the ball. Ball out to Konsa. Konsa trying to find a delivery. clatters off Alanga and will be a Villa corner. Villa pushing, probing, trying to find that goal that would surely force the game into their momentum and their kind of way and push them towards maybe picking up something out of this game. Long way to go yet, and they need to find at least a goal to try and help them onto that cause. Corner, right hand side, left footed whipped in to the back post. Forest have it covered. The ball bouncing around, falls to Tielemans, who delivers it. And headed behind by Murillo for another Villa corner. The pressure from Aston Villa is building. Can they make it count? Douglas Luiz, corner on the left hand side this time for Villa. Pushing all the bodies into the 6-yard box. Deep one cleared away. Not one of his best there, Douglas Luiz. Easily cleared. I think it was Murillo with the header away. Villa pushing forward again. Delivery right across the box. Alanga heads it away. Tielemans picks up the loose ball. Bouncing through, and Vlachodimos will catch it just before it went out of play there. And he will pick up the ball and calm everything down now for Forest. Don't forget, more Premier League football to come after this. Luton against Liverpool today, 4:30 kickoff from Kenilworth Road. And here Forest are forward, but the offside flag goes up there last second against Morgan Gibbs-White. Who, by the way, I don't think Morgan Gibbs-White has been massively involved. He's been pretty much involved in off-the-ball play, but in possession, it's not been his most dominant game, but doesn't need to be. Villa wanted a corner there, but that was put out of play for a throw-in by Niakate. Villa have it back on the left-hand side. Tielemans almost putting it straight out of play there. It's a poor ball to Digne, but kept in play. Torres trying to thread it to find McGinn. Back to Torres. Has to go back to Esri Konsa. Here's Torres. Ball goes off a Forest player last. Will be another throw into Villa. And they're going to make changes here. More changes to come. Forest are going to make another one. Taiwo Awoniyi is leaving the field. Hasn't scored a Premier League goal since the 26th of August. That run continues. This afternoon, he's not going to score today. They don't need him to score really now, Forest. 2-0 up. Happy as Larry. Happy as can be, it seems. And they just need to hold on. Taiwo Awoniyi coming off the pitch. And he is being replaced by Danilo. So a more defensive-minded change from Forest there. And an extra body there just to help them out. Bit of fresh legs as well to help out defensively in the last 8-9 minutes or so. Plus any of the additional time that's going to be added on. Konsa. Tielemans. Keeping it alive. Torres. Villa need a clear-cut chance. Kind of lift them. Give them confidence that they can go for this. But Forest covering it everywhere again and winning the throw-in. Nottingham Forest down the right-hand side off Douglas Luiz. They've worked ever so hard today, Nottingham Forest, and if they are to falter this, it will be the utmost of disappointment. Aurier with a long throw. Surrendered possession again there, Forest, but poor ball by Diaby. And now Forest have the breakaway down the left-hand side. Here's Ola Aina. Nice switch of the ball. Finds Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White lifts it behind. Run of Danilo on the run and bouncing around. Villa can't get it away. Danilo kept it alive, but the flag goes up against him. Inside the box. Another offside against Nottingham Forest. You'll see this again. Aina, lovely skill when he's pressed by Tielemans. Skips past him. Nice cutback. Finds Gibbs-White and he plays the ball over the top, but again, making the run slightly too early again, Forest. Danilo that time caught offside. Forest haven't had a shot for a long time. Still only 2 shots in the half from Forest, and they've come very, very early on in the second half. One of those, of course, finding the back of the net, inadvertently off Emi Martinez, but nonetheless, they all count. Villa have had 8 shots, 2 on target in the second half. They haven't had enough shots on target. That's the problem at the moment for Villa. Here's Bailey. Down the right-hand side. Can he help out? Cuts it back for Konsa, who's occupied a right-back position. Finds Tielemans. Now the ball into the box. Bouncing around. Villa, Forest can't clear it. They do eventually. In the end, booted away up the pitch. All the way through to Emi Martinez. 6 minutes plus additional time to go. Forest 2, Villa 0. It's pretty comfortable in terms of the scoreline, but it only takes 1 goal to really completely turn the game on its head and the momentum to go in Villa's favour. At the moment, Forest are clinging on, holding on, and fighting for dear life for a clean sheet and even 3 points as well. Torres. Carlos with the ball. Now McGinn with the delivery. Cleared away. Half cleared. Diaby. Kept alive. Bouncing around again. Villa are getting closer. Starting to find those spaces in the Forest box, but they need to move quickly, and Diaby was cut out that time. Watkins was also in there. I think Watkins was in an offside position, but Lucadini actually was also offside. It would have been an offside nonetheless. Wouldn't have counted. More changes going to be afoot here. Villa are going to make another change. Leander Dunker is coming on. He's replacing Douglas Luiz. So another change in midfield for Villa. Some more fresh legs to try and push them on. Encourage them on a comeback. But Villa are going to make, or Forest are going to make changes as well. Nico Williams is being replacing Ola Aina. He scored the first goal for Forest this afternoon, Ola Aina. He's replaced by Nico Williams. And a second substitution, Ryan Yates is going to come onto the pitch for Forest. Experienced head. He will replace Nicolas Dominguez as well. So Dominguez coming off. And he will hand the captain's armband as well, I think, to Ryan Yates. No, he won't. I thought he was there. He was just taking a bandage off himself. Dominguez and Aina off. Replaced by Williams and Yates. Villa have a throw in on the right hand side. Taken by Konsa. Diaby takes a touch back to Konsa. Here's Carlos. Diego Carlos on the ball. Plays it across to Pau Torres. The run made by Digne. Makes the run into the box, trying to flick it on. Well dealt with by Niakate on the cover and clears the ball away. Out for another Villa throw in. Digne. Tielemans. Ball given away to Danilo. Now Forest can try and break away. Get the ball up the pitch. Alanga right down the right hand side. Has 2 Villa players against him. Plays the ball forward to Danilo. Will the flag go up? It will go up. I was expecting it too. He looked in a really... such an easy decision for the assistant. He's made awful run beyond from Danilo, and he was offside. It's just a bit silly now from Forest. They're playing a ball that's clearly offside, and you're just going to stop that whole kind of phase of play and put yourself under pressure again. Danilo booked there for his reaction to that offside call, for his response to the assistant for putting his flag up. So he's booked for the very first time this season. Here's Pau Torres. Tielemans. Esri Konsa for Villa. Then Dunker facing his own goal and has to go back towards the Villa defence, but a nice ball to find Bailey on the right hand side. Williams on the cover, and the last touch is off the Villa player, Leon Bailey. Really good defending by Nico Williams there, and that will be a Forest goal kick. There you go. Forest 2, Villa 0, and Villa edging closer to another defeat. The third defeat of the season it will be for Villa. Only 2 teams have been able to beat them this campaign in the Premier League so far. Liverpool one of them and Newcastle the other. It's a late challenge by Diego Carlos on a Forest player. The referee said there was nothing doing, but the crowd was certainly gesturing that there was a foul at least. Forest trying to push forward. A third goal would surely, most definitely wrap it all up, but at 2-0 they're still comfortable, Forest. Ball down the line. Kept alive by Aurier. Up against Digne. Aurier battling to try and win it back off McGinn, though, who came in and challenged. He's carried the ball away, McGinn. Lovely from Villa. Now here's Diaby. Bailey makes the run beyond him. Moussa Diaby charging towards the Forest goal. Here's Leon Bailey trying to cut in. Forest on the cover does well. Konsa keeping it alive, trying to get the cross in. Blocked that time by Forest and cleared away by Murillo. Really, really good. Hard work from Forest to cover all the spaces, not give Villa an inch when they get into the Forest 18-yard box and not allowed a chance to open up for a strike. Really have to commend Steve Cooper's side this afternoon of how hard they've worked defensively against such quality in this Villa attack, who haven't really been on their top form today, Aston Villa, or anywhere near that. And now the Forest fans believe they've done just enough to seal 3 points here, although we've just surpassed the 90-minute mark. And we will have 6 added minutes at the end of this half. So 6 minutes for Forest to hold on to a 2-0 lead. The Forest fans believe they can do it. They're already celebrating, but the ball behind. Digne cuts it back. Completely missed everyone in there. Gibbs-White trying to clear it away. He messes that one up. Villa keep it alive. Tielemans. Then Dunker. Back to Yuri Tielemans. Down the right-hand side to Bailey. Bailey on the edge of the box up against Nico Williams, who battles well, Williams. And that'll be another goal kick. 2 for 2 against Leon Bailey as Nico Williams there. Well, it was all down to the second goal that really changed the kind of rhythm and the dynamics of this game. Forest only 1-0 up. It would be a much more nail-biting affair for Forest in the second half, and that second goal early in the second half from Ola Mangala really gave them a bit of breathing room, something to really hold on to, really cling on to defensively, and that's kind of been the catalyst for this second half performance from Nottingham Forest. Haven't worried about going up the pitch. All they've worried about is denying Villa at the other end, and they've done a sensational job at that so far. And a clean sheet would surely be the icing on the top of the cake, really, for Forest today. 3 points would be fantastic. A clean sheet would really just top it all off. They now have a free kick, a player down there. It's Tielemans with the ball. Yates trying to battle for it, and then winning it back was Sangare, who was just hit in the face by Tielemans. Not intentionally, but was caught there. Sangare just down for a second. He will return to his feet, and Tielemans arguing his innocence. Sangare not having any of it. Still having a chat, and Jared Gillett trying to break this apart has said enough is enough. Still haven't got back on the way here. We've already played 2 minutes of the 6 additional minutes of additional time. And some job Steve Cooper is doing. As I mentioned, I believe in this Forest team. I said it at the start of the season. I believe there's something in this Forest team that can see them over the line and see them into a good midfield position or mid-table position this season. Wins against this type of team at home is certainly going to carry them pretty well in that endeavour. Leon Bailey trying to force something for Villa now. Forest have bodies everywhere, clearing it away. 3 minutes to go. Tielemans with a reverse ball finds Diaby, battling with Nico Williams. Williams, since he's come onto the pitch, has been totally unbeatable for Forest. Villa have a free kick here. With 2.5 minutes to go, a goal from a free kick would certainly give them confidence to try and push on for a late equaliser, but they need to get a goal soon for that to have any chance of happening. But one goal is not enough. They need two. Tielemans standing over this free kick alongside Leon Bailey for Aston Villa. Whistle from Jared Gillett goes. Tielemans fizzes it to the back post. Brought down. It's not the best of deliveries. They just leave them in the same position they were 2 minutes ago. And Tielemans gives it away. Goes right through him. It's a 3-on-2 here for Forest. Can they carry it away? Alanga charging down the left, but really good covering from Moussa Diaby. Has it back for Villa. But that was an awful bit of set-piece play from Aston Villa. Terrible ball by Tielemans, and they just almost end up conceding from that position. Almost end up the other end of the pitch. Really poor from Villa, that. Set pieces haven't been up to standard either this afternoon. They've had an abundance of corners, but Forest have dealt with every single one of them. I can't actually remember a corner where Villa actually won the first header. That's how dominant Forest have been in that defensive area for them this afternoon, both aerially and on the ground. It really just sums up how well Forest have defended all afternoon. That ball to find Bailey. Bailey down the right hand side, whips a ball in, cleared away. Alanga trying to help them out there, Forest, but well, battled by Tielemans. Carlos. Now Digne on the left. Last minute of the 6th. I'm sure there'll be a bit more than that. And that probably sums up Villa's performance. John McGinn's touch there. Straight out of play for a goal kick to Forest. That just sums it all up, really. Just give someone a 10-second clip of that action there, and that's all they need to know about this game. Villa have been nowhere near it. They've had all of the possession, really. But possession is only one part of the game that you need to dominate. You need to dominate chances. You need to dominate the attacking areas. They haven't done that today, Villa. They've had so much of the ball in the second half because Forest have been sitting deeper. They've changed their tactic, Forest, in the second half. They're on the counter-attack. They didn't get many counter-attacking chances, by the way, but they don't need them. They're 2-0 up. They've had 73% of the ball overall, Villa. 79% in the second half alone. But we've surpassed the 6 minutes, and surely it's a formality now. Just waiting on that whistle from Jared Gillett to confirm it. But it will be some miracle if Villa get anything out of this game now. Having played the 6 minutes, they need 2 goals. I think Villa just have had enough and want this game to finish because they're not even going for anything now. And that is the final whistle from Jared Gillett. Steve Cooper and his side, after 6 games without a win, back home and beat a very, very good Aston Villa team who have only less wins than Man City and Arsenal in Unai Emery's year in charge on his anniversary of taking over charge of his very first game of Aston Villa in that 3-1 win against Manchester United last season. Villa are beaten on the road by Nottingham Forest. That's their 3rd defeat of the season. Only Newcastle and Liverpool had beaten Villa before this. Nottingham Forest joined that exclusive group who have stolen points off Villa. Only 2 teams have stopped Villa from scoring this season. Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. An incredible defensive display from Forest. 2 goals from Ola Aina and Mangala either side of the half has Forest. 3 points for them today, and they move above Chelsea in the table up to 12th. Final score from the City Ground, it's Nottingham Forest 2, Aston Villa 0.